We have a beverage crate problem in the workshop, a storage problem. So, time to build a better storage solution than this. For material we have this pretty nice and thick piece of oak that's left over from Robin from some kind of furniture project. And some 20mm square steel tubing. First task is cutting and milling down the wood into 50mm square pieces. Okay, that's all pieces milled to size and cut to length, and that's how they go together. Simple frame, the upper stretcher is flush, the lower one is a bit offset to create feet. Next comes the joinery. Just screws would be enough, but I really like using my pantry router for this work, and they've got something new: tapered mortise and tenons. The cool thing about that is, in the beginning they are pretty loose, obviously, so it's easy to get glue deep into the mortise. And when they're almost tight, I give them a little push. That holds together, and no need for clamps. So let's do it with some glue. I would say that's spread enough. One push. That would be it. Or just to be secure, blow with the hammer. Cool. It works by only using a tapered router bit they provide, and the rest of the template and arrangement stuff is the same as for any other pantry router joint. Okay, that's the tenons done. And the mortises work with the same router bit, just a different follower on the template. I made a test mortise to check the fit, and the gap I get should be about 1 millimeter, so that's still too large, and I need to make the tenons a bit smaller, which is a slight adjustment forward with the follower bearing. Next check, and looking pretty good. I think that's the setup I can go with. Joinery complete, including the setups. This took only about 30 minutes. Now it's ready for gluing. Well, this is a really easy to reach glue joint, so of course I'm going to use clamps. But the joints are now nicely closed and I can already take off the clamps. Great! Much easier to pick up for letting it dry. Cool. That's 1.20 meters. Well, while those frames are drying, I can prepare the steel. First of all, it's very dirty and needs some good cleaning. They are 2 meters long and I need 6 equal length 1 meter or just under 1 meter pieces. I have the first bar clamped in the saw and the blade aligned with my mark. And now I just slide everything against this clamp and have my repeatable stop. The way I will join the metal to the wood is with a bolt and barrel nut. And for that, the ends of all tubes need a hole. 12 millimeters from the end. And of course, centered. Alright, 2 of the tubes also need a couple slots in them, so I marked 3 holes that will make holes that slightly overlap each other, which I can then file into a slot. Alright, got the steel parts complete and thoroughly cleaned. The frames are dry as well, so next come the square holes into the frame where the steel fits. And since I've built such a rack before, I've already got that pant router template. I've also made a few test holes and this one is a pretty good fit. Now just mark the positions on my frame. And these are the dimensions that work best for me. This is the front leg and the rails start 11 centimeters from the bottom, always to the center of the tube. They are 35 centimeters apart and the back one is 10 centimeters higher than the front one. And the distance to the next one is 54 centimeters. That's it. And that should work for pretty much all common crate sizes. Okay, that's all the holes for the rails where the crates are on. Now comes some more on the top, which will be tangent with the top surface, which is for mounting the top plate. Okay, now I'm switching to a bigger bit with which I can pre-drill the bolt hole centered in the square cutout. And of course doing that for all cutouts. Good. Next I'm going to countersink so the bolt heads sit flush. Time for a test assembly. Now crate. Perfect. Different size. Perfect. The position of the crate doesn't really matter, but it gets really close to the floor here, so maybe I should have put everything 1 centimeter up. But this will work. Okay, and with the second crate on top, you can see that you can easily reach every bottle in the crate, and when there's a plate on top, still easily reach every bottle from the top crate, and also easy access for getting them in and out. Or I'll do it like this. There's only one problem with the smaller crate when it's not tilted enough. But we only have one of them and maybe just store it like this. These two are the standard sized crates. For the top we have a leftover piece of a sheet of like beech countertop material. Solid beech hardwood, 27 millimeters thick. Quite overkill for this, but leftover piece is leftover piece. That's cut to size and basically everything ready for finish prep. So sanding, chamfering, rounding, let's go. And we're done. So now a coat of hard wax oil and assembly. Nice result. And since I cut through the tenon here, we can nicely see the taper, the little pocket I left for excess glue, and the dark line everywhere is actual dried glue. So glue is everywhere on the tenon. That's great. Having the grain on the top run like this isn't ideal, and that's why I have these long slots in the steel. And the screws, I won't make them awfully tight, so the top can nicely expand and contract with the seasons. It's done. Time to get it to its new home. Nice. Another idea, if you want to build this yourself and can't use the square tubing with the pantry router like I did, use round tubing, so you just then need a hole, and you can also skip the barrel nuts if you just run a length of threaded rod through it, screw it together with like dome nuts on the end, so it's nice, and then you basically have the same result. On top now also goes our microwave oven, and that's a much better height for me to watch my lunch getting warm.